Now it's fair to say the whole Harry Potter thing has gone a bit far. There's more fan theories than Rich has hairs on his body, and that's a lot floating around the internet. With everything from Harry Potter being the Night King to Ron having a weird old man trapped inside him, and yes, we'll expand on that more later, there's some really weird writing going on about Rowling's books. And let's be fair, she's just as bad for playing along. It takes a lot to be the most ridiculous in the Harry Potter fan theory series when everything is a new high, or rather low, in weird ideas. And of course, I wouldn't be going on this magical adventure without the one and only Rich.
Hello. So swallow your gillyweed and have your wand at the ready, because we're going to wade into the wonderful weird world of Harry Potter fan theories.
8. Hufflepuffs are competent with a whole variety of herbs. In a world full of magic, adventure, beautiful creatures, amazing fauna, and endless possibility at one's fingertips, Hufflepuffs would apparently rather take the back seat and just chill out. Magic can be stressful, I guess. Regardless of the reasoning, Hufflepuffs are known for a few important things: their kindness, calmness, and of course, their green fingers. See where I'm going with this yet? There's literally a theory that has decided Hufflepuff is the house of all things herbivore in more ways than one. Cultivating plants as their pastime, there's belief that they'll obviously run across the devil's lettuce at some point or another. Or maybe even the magical equivalent, VOLDEMORT'S cabbage, I don't know. So yeah, Hufflepuff is the house of stoners. The reasoning for this is that the common room is right next to the kitchen for when those pesky munchies kick in. And if that doesn't convince you, then Puff is literally in the name. Explains why they're so nice and friendly all the time, apparently.
They're druggies. Number 7. The Boy Who Lived Under the Stairs. This is a theory that apparently has been spelled out from the very beginning of the franchise. As we already know, Potter is a young, sad and lonely orphan boy forced to live under the stairs at his aunt's house, and it's proven he has an imagination when he's dejectedly playing with his toys in the opening sequences. Could it not be that maybe his mind has taken it one step further and created his own fantasy land full of wizards and magic as a coping mechanism? It makes sense that someone suffering at the hands of such a cruel family would make his own mental escape, somewhere where he is the very linchpin that holds the fabric of existence together as the Chosen One. The integration between the Muggle and magical worlds suggests he was slipping in and out of reality at any given time, just looking for somewhere where he actually matters and is cared about. That means everything we see related to Hogwarts and magic is in his broken mind, trying to find happiness whilst condemned to a life of abuse. Well, that's enough feelings for one day. We're only at number 7. Oh, this is going to be fun.
6. There's already been a Wizards versus Muggles war. The relationship between the world of magic and normal Muggle life is a bit of a strange one when you think about it. Considering the Wizards live in secret from normal humans and many attendees of Hogwarts are born to non-magical parents, you'd have thought they'd be pretty clued in to how the other half live. When you think about the sheer power a boy with a stick wields compared to our normal Muggle selves, it's entirely strange that the magical world doesn't capitalise on their position. The only logical explanation is that they've already tried it and gotten themselves well and truly f***ed by the Muggles. Big up the normies. The tiny seed that planted this bloom is the mention of the Ministry of Magic having to report to the Prime Minister about a dragon. There really isn't any reason for British politics to have any hold over the magical realm, unless there's a long withstanding agreement between the two born from previous animosity. It's a stretch, but I guess there's some plausibility to it, but only if you can believe that the entire history of both peoples has somehow been forgotten before HP came along.
Number 5. Harry is under the influence of a love potion. This one's a little darker than most, since it implies that Harry's relationship with Ginny is the result of an extended roofie session and a serious magical and Muggle crime. But those that refuse to accept the pairings of Harry and Ginny insist that Ginny drugged Harry with a love potion. There's a lot of talk of love potions floating throughout the Potter world. There's the one used to conceive Lord Voldemort, a box of dosed-up chocolates incorrectly administered to Ron, and a whole section of the Weasleys' joke shop dedicated to the heart-eyes-inducing concoction. It's the latter that provides opportunity for the youngest Weasley child to get her hands on the spell, and the rest is history. Contextually, Harry and Ginny's relationship does happen pretty out of the blue, considering they've been friends for years beforehand with no romantic interest. However, J.K. Rowling debunked this love potion nonsense herself at a festival in 2014, though it's kinda sad that she had to. True love, guys.
4. Professor McGonagall is actually a Death Eater. Really nothing is sacred here. With little evidence but a whole lot of believers, there's a theory that Professor McGonagall isn't all that she appears to be. and it's much worse than her turning into a cat. The lovely and reliable Minerva has been claimed to be a Death Eater, one of Voldemort's army of baddies ready to take Harry Potter down at any given moment. With her aggressively hands-free teaching methods that allow young children to often be thrust into peril, there's some ground for this idea to stand on. And if true, it's likely she would have had an extremely covert operation under Voldemort's rule as a trusted member of the Hogwarts staff. This means no obvious Death Eatery taking place on the grounds, and plenty of surreptitious moves to weaken Potter and his gang of meddling kids. The main cause for this theory comes from the offhand comment that Muggles are not completely stupid, potentially revealing prejudice to non-magical folk with a slip of the tongue, but also in a profession of choice as a teacher of transfiguration, making her a master of disguise.
Number 3. Dumbledore is everything and everyone. The elderly headmaster of Hogwarts and fan favourite of the series, Albus Dumbledore has had his fair share of appearances in theories across the world, with everything from Dumbledore being an allegory for the Grim Reaper, to him creating his own Horcrux and being immortal, to actually being a time-travelling Ron Weasley. Unsurprisingly, it's that last one that proves to be the most ridiculous, hinging itself on the fact that the two share a sweet tooth. Of all things. Both share introductions defined by their love of candy, so they must be the same person, right? Other evidence comes from the pair being tall, thin, and having the same defining ginger hair, or at least Dumbledore did before turning grey. The most pivotal part of this theory, however, is Ron taking on the mantle of both Knight and King when playing wizard chess in the first movie, symbolising his duplicitous nature as both a supporting character to Harry, a knight, and the mastermind of the war between good and evil that Dumbledore continuously acts as, or king. Someone has put far too much thought into this.
2. Willy Wonka and the Weasley Factory. One of the more bizarre branch-outs from the Harry Potter fanbase, there's speculation that wizards aren't confined to the Harry Potter films alone, and that one in particular has escaped for his own secret spin-off. As fate would have it, George Weasley is believed to be the true Willy Wonka, because why the heck not? Turning his hand to the sweets industry after his brother's death, George set himself up a factory where he could continue the business he set up with Fred, creating the weird, wonderful, and downright impossible for Muggles to marvel at the world over. It not only explains how Wonka's incredible factory truly works, but why the chocolatier would lock himself up for years before the golden ticket competition, namely grief. That grief is embodied in his office, where every item is neatly split in half, just as the lost twin would now feel after Death Eaters killed his identical brother. Wonka even wears the very same top hat that adorns the Weasleys' Wizarding Wheezes shop, and most importantly, is a trifle deaf in the very ear that George lost in battle. Coincidence? I think not! All it takes is a quick whiz on the time turner and bosh! George is even in the right era. Magical.
Number 1. J.K. Rowling is Rita Skeeter. Okay, I absolutely love this one. Breaking the fourth wall down as effectively as Platform 9 3/4, there have been parallels drawn between the wizard journalist and our very own omniscient creator of the Harry Potter universe. Both blonde writers, both a bit nutty, and both, most importantly, tied to the Potter universe. There's a theory that Rita Skeeter is the embodiment of Rowling in her own universe. It even goes so far as to suggest that the entire series isn't fictional, that it's in fact Skeeter's own account of the events spanning Potter's timeline under the pseudonym of Rowling. Why would a wizard openly out her community? Well, Skeeter is known for being controversial, and it's inevitable that she's on the path to brewing up some trouble. In short, she's gotten herself expedited from the wizarding world and taken revenge by revealing the home truths of it to the wider Muggle population. Since we are, indeed, a bunch of morons, we've taken it entirely as fiction, and any action from the magical community would entirely show their hand as definitely, really existing.
And that's our list. Rich, have you got any closing thoughts?
Yes. Why does Neville use 2 cubicles when he goes to the toilet?
I don't know, Rich. Why?
Because he has a long bottom.
And that's everything.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and in the comments down below put your terrible Harry Potter jokes and also your ridiculous Harry Potter theories. I've been Ash.
I've been Rich.
She's hairier than me.
It's true.
We'll see you soon.